Good evening, Crimson Tide Nation, and welcome to the 63rd edition of Alabama Crimson Tide Live. From yours truly, Jackson Johnson, and my partners in crime, Jeffrey Only Taught Sports and Trevion Ware, as we'll be going over quite a lot on this Cupcake week of the 2025 college football season for the Alabama Crimson Tide. And let me tell you something, folks, it's going to be a wild ride. How you gentlemen doing tonight?
Doing all right, doing all right.
Doing good.
Doing better than I was Saturday after that upset, man. Yeah, definitely doing. Had some days to reflect and everything. So yeah.
Oh man, it's just been good grief. We kind of felt like Charlie Brown at the pitcher's mound on Saturday. I mean, that's what it felt like.
At least we win more than Charlie Brown does.
True.
Long term.
True. I mean, it's like Charlie Brown always getting his butt beat. It's like he didn't do anything to deserve that. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, and that rainstorm that prevented him from getting that one win.
Ugh. So, I mean, like, where's that music from the background, the sad music of Boy Named Charlie Brown when you need it? Because, like, we kind of felt like that on Saturday.
Yeah, but then it's like it's no margin for error now. Got to play perfect football moving forward. This Alabama Crimson Tide group right here. So if you want any hopes of keeping your season alive and keeping all the goals they have in front of them, check. So
agreed. But gentlemen, you know what doesn't make me sad, and I know it doesn't make you guys sad either. We got some merch from Alabama with the Voice College Football. Black Friday is coming. Thanksgiving is coming. Christmas time is near. The holidays are near, which means one thing. You come on in and get the trucker hat, the dad hat, the t-shirt. You know, I personally like this color red. Do a little blackout. What do you think, gentlemen?
No, the gear looks fine for sure. Definitely need to tap in if you haven't already on the Voice of College Football website and look at some of this gear we got here because it's definitely definitely some stuff for everyone for sure.
Oh, great. No doubt about it. Got the heavyweight t-shirt and the sweatshirt. Oh, man, we've got it all. The polo shirt. You know what? For once, that polo will keep you warm. And we've got the can cooler, the mugs, and the tumbler cup. I think I'm going to get something like that. So I'm like, you know what? It feels good to get something like that. Definitely for showtime. And it's all right there on Voice College Football /shop.4wall.com/collections/Alabama. Gentlemen, got some final thoughts on Alabama, Oklahoma. Gonna put this game to bed. But, Ty Simpson was at the press conference, talking about, he didn't go around blaming anybody. He just kind of took responsibility for it. Like, what was your thoughts on the press conference from DeBoer and Simpson and all those guys? Just like watching bits and pieces of it.
Yeah, for me, it really just looks like a group that's trying to move forward. You know, they really know that they can't control anything that happened Saturday, but they're just trying to move forward. Obviously, the offense knows that they have to play cleaner football overall, and they know that they gifted a lot of those points to Oklahoma in the first place. So it's really just like a reflection thing from the things I'm hearing from Ty Simpson, from Kalen DeBoer, Ryan Grubb, and even Kane Womack. With Kane Womack, I don't think they need to be saying much. I mean, they've been the defense been doing what they need to do, but like I said, it's just been some problems on the offensive end that's really been biting his team in the butt overall, and then just like I said, it's just been a lot of self reflection going on from the things I've heard so far.
Yeah, and there was a little bit where he gave his take on the Connor Talty missed field goal, where he was just like, it's a little bit of the same as the last time we missed one. Just we could get a little better snap, but we could make the kick too. And it took a little bit of everything on the execution from the snap to the kick. Got to find a way to kick it through when it's not perfect. Got to find a way to execute better on the whole thing, the whole operation. I couldn't agree with that. We definitely have to work on that kicking game. We've got to do a better job at it, especially in the coming weeks, especially when it gets to the Iron Bowl. Because if we do not take advantage of any opportunity we've got, we're in trouble against those Tigers because they are looking to just spoil playoff hopes for the Crimson Tide. They are looking to do just that.
Yeah, and then like with the Talty situation, you would expect a cleaner operation from the holder. From holder to kicker during this time of year, but they just been having problems over this whole season. Kind of, just some of the ups and downs that kind of Talty has went through. But it sounds like Kalen DeBoer is continuing to kind of keep his confidence behind Talty because you never know when we're going to need him this time of year because today, Alabama is going on the road inside of Jordan Hare, and there's no telling what moment of the game they'll need him. And from a confidence standpoint, you want your kicker to be confident going in so he can make those kicks for you, because, like I said, they're going to need him at some point. So they can't just operate like they don't have a kicker. So really just I'm really just hoping that in practice that they're taking it step by step and getting stuff down, so they can get their rhythm back and do the things that they need to do for Alabama to be successful, so they can really just secure themselves into this playoff. Because like I said, there's no margin for error, so even a small kick or something like that could really derail them from their goals. So that's real important from what Kellen DeBoer is saying about Talty.
And Godfather of the SEC, shout out to our OG YouTube member of Alabama with the Voice of College Football. He says, always remember what Coach Bryant said. You have to be sound in the kicking game as special teams at all times. 100% you have to be. 100% you have to be.
Yeah, and then just being sound on top of that, that just goes back to the fumble that Ryan Williams had in the kick return game, and Kellen DeBoer had said some stuff about how the Oklahoma special teams unit was they were kind of tricky, for lack of a better term, but he said they were kind of tricky in how they were kicking the ball and stuff, so that triggered them to make the decision to have Ryan Williams and Latsir Brooks back there. But like the Godfather was saying, special teams is really important. So they're gonna have to get those players sure-handed and moving forward, so they don't make those mistakes, so they don't give teams those extra possessions because that's really what it was against Oklahoma, giving them extra possessions, giving them extra chances, giving them extra room to capitalize off of Alabama's margin for error. So hopefully they can get that part of the game cleaned up because they need all phases of the game to be successful. So.
Jeffrey, what are your final thoughts on Alabama, Oklahoma for this week?
Well, I mean, the thing is like Godfather of the SEC said, the kicker's getting roasted. I mean, on that specific play, there's a lot going on there. Everybody keeps saying, was it blocked? I've watched it about 50 times now. I don't know if it was blocked. I don't think it was blocked. It could have been blocked, but I don't know. I don't think it was. But at the same time, like, people were trashing Talty for going off at the holder. Well, some people are saying that he was going off about the Oklahoma guy that jumped the line and there was no penalty. It looked like he was talking to the holder, but he might have been talking to the holder about that. But at the same time, he might have actually been going off with the holder. There's a lot there. That's all I know. There was a lot with that play. The main takeaway from that play is that play is not the sole reason we lost. And everyone knows that, but we want to harp on that. I remember our good friend Will and D talking about the A&M Notre Dame game earlier this season and how I told him, like, hey, Tyler Buckner just blew the game for you. And Will said, yes, he did. By fumbling the snap, didn't get the extra point, and Notre Dame lost by 1. But there were a lot of other plays, Will said, is why Notre Dame lost that game as well. It was not just that. And the same goes for the kick. Yes, if Connor Talty hits that field goal, if everything goes smooth on that, we win the game. And yes, we are going to need our kicker to be better down the stretch of the season against Auburn and in the playoffs if we make it and in the SEC title game, because if not, it might cost us another game, and that would suck. But that play was not the only reason we lost. And again, everyone knows that, but it's just because you want to harp on that play. We know for a fact Ty Simpson's pick six was, to me, more influential than the missed field goal. It was a bigger deal. I mean, that's 3 points. You're talking about 6 points with a pick six turns into 7 points for Oklahoma that they shouldn't have had. Because, I mean, even with that interception, if we don't allow the pick six and we stop them right there, does Oklahoma go down the field and score a touchdown? Probably not, because Oklahoma did not do that once in the entire game. All of their scores came off our mistakes and giving them great field position. The pick six was just directly there. Just gave them that. So that was the bigger problem. Our defense was not bad. I mean, like you said, Travion, definitely Womack does not really have a lot, to say like, hey, we need to do this. This is better. You always need to improve. Yeah, I mean, you want to strive for improvement. No matter how good you are, there's always probably another gear you can reach. But definitely is not the defense's problem. Giving up 200 yards to Oklahoma, that's good. 212 yards, that was fine. The turnovers, we cannot have that happen again in a game this season. 3 turnovers. The way those turnovers happened, too, is just even worse. They were just terrible turnovers. I mean, probably the least bad one was Ron Williams, just because the fact Ron Williams, he's a really small guy, and him, he got punched out, man. Like that was tough. I mean, where he fumbled it out on the field was terrible, but it's like maybe not have him in the return game. That's a fixable problem. But like Simpson, he cannot sit in the pocket and take sacks and get the ball knocked out. He's got to throw it away. That's an improvement right there. Can't have a throw like that again where he gives up the pick six. That's teachable. Cannot do that against Auburn. Cannot do that in the SEC title game if we make that. Because if you do, we're not winning those games. I mean, it's just not going to happen because we know Auburn's going to give us 110%. So definitely defense wasn't the problem. There were a lot of issues in the game. Just a lot of particular plays that were the problem. It was not just Talty and the kick. That needs to be addressed, though. Everything needs to be addressed. This is a wake-up call. Thankfully, with a 12-team playoff now, it doesn't eliminate you. Because if it was a 14-team playoff, we think about it if it was a 14 playoff. Right now, with a 14 playoff, we're mad. Oh, my gosh, Alabama's done. It's history. We're not making the playoffs now. DeBoer needs to be fired. We're not saying that because it's a 12-team playoff now. We can still get in. Everything's still in front of us. It's all good. But this was a wake-up call. We've got the easiest of all gimme games next week. Like, just it's still ridiculous. I'm sorry. I know for SEC perspective, you don't want to be trashing it because it sounds like a Big Ten homer here. I'm not a Big Ten or SEC homer. I'm just being honest. It is dumb that we play these games when we do.
I know,
but
right.
we got the ultimate game to get right against pretty much air. So definitely all the issues we had this week, we can address next week, and hopefully we'll be able to move past this game because this is a good team. This is a better team than last year. They're really good, but this game was definitely a wake-up call for sure.
Yeah, and one more thing I want to speak to, just what's been going on with this Alabama offense pretty much throughout this entire season in the second half. They just been having, like I said, just lack of execution, and just overall, this is a team that doesn't score a lot of points in the second half. I mean, if I go down throughout all the second halves they played, like, for example, versus Florida State, they had 10 points in the second half. Versus ULM, they had 31 points in the second half, but that's inferior competition. Versus Wisconsin, they had 17 points. Versus Georgia, they laid a donut egg and had 0. Versus Vanderbilt, they had 15. Versus Missouri, they had 10. Versus Tennessee, they had 14. Versus South Carolina, they had 15. But we all know those came in the final 2 minutes. And versus LSU, they had 3. And then just this past weekend versus Oklahoma, they had 7. So it's really just a pattern there for me. Like I said, they just they are in depth of finishing ball games, add leads, and this is how teams stay around and things like that. And that's gonna really come back to bite them in the playoffs if they do not finish. If they indeed do make the playoffs, do make the SEC title game, because after this week being Cupcake week, they're not gonna be playing any inferior teams. Every team's gonna be up to date. And after Auburn, pretty much it's postseason, so every team there has, I would think would have a capable offense that is capable of winning them those games. So with Alabama not being efficient in the second half, that might come back to hurt them. So hopefully that this week when they do play Eastern Illinois, we can see some signs of them in the second half being more efficient, putting more points on the board from an offensive standpoint, and playing a more complete game because overall they just haven't been playing complete games and they've been winning, and the wins have been covering up some of these glaring deficiencies they have. But as we saw Saturday, you can only cover it up so much. We're in their head more and more. And versus Auburn, when they play Auburn, they playing them at a 6 o'clock game on the road, national televised. Who knows what can happen? So offense, I would hope that they, have a lot of self-reflection and move forward and start putting together some better performances. Because the Alabama football team is going to need it.
Yeah, I remember like the last time Alabama Auburn was at night was obviously on the very date, November 29th. How ironic is that? November 29th, 2014. And Brent Musburger and Jesse Palmer, I believe, were on the call on ESPN that night.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be some crazy stuff going on in that game for sure. That's why I'm harping on this offense, playing their best football, particularly in the second half, because you don't want to keep a team like Auburn around. I know we're gonna get to that later on in the when we start looking down the line and stuff like that. But a team like Auburn for their bowl eligibility. Then they also got the spoiler factor of wanting to spoil Alabama's season, and then just the rivalry on top of that. It's the Iron Bowl, so they're interim head coach on top of that. They got every reason to want to spoil things for Alabama. So hopefully, like I said, this offense can uh, have a come to Jesus meeting, do whatever they got to do in practice this week to start cleaning some things up and stop leaving the defense hanging. Pretty much. Yeah.
I will say with Auburn, I really don't want to trash them too hard because of the fact that if I do, then there will be Auburn fans that somehow find me saying what I'm saying and say, hey, we beat you. It's all because you said and opened your mouth. Okay. The point I'm trying to make when it comes to Auburn, though, is that they don't even care about their bowl game. That's a sad thing. I remember when they made a bowl game a couple of years ago and they played Maryland and they got beat by like 28. They didn't even show up. So they don't even care about that. They would rather lose to Mercer next week and then beat Bama and go 5-7 than beat Mercer and Alabama, go 6-6 and make a bowl game. They would rather lose to Mercer. I'm telling you, they don't even care about the bowl game. That's how sad they are as a program that they don't care about the bowl game. They don't care about Mercer because they lost to New Mexico State and then almost beat us. It took a 4th and 31 for us to beat them that year in 2023 in Jordan-Hare when they lost to New Mexico State. And I don't care about Diego Pavia, New Mexico State. That's still a garbage loss for Auburn. They didn't even try in that game. It's not like they barely lost the game. They got blown out by New Mexico State and then almost beat Alabama. So that's why football games. And people are like, oh, well, Alabama barely beat Auburn, but this team beat Auburn by 40. It's like, okay. Auburn didn't try in that game, and against Alabama, they did. People should be aware of that. People should understand that, okay? If Auburn plays as close, they always play as close in Jordan-Hare. They're going to play as close in Jordan-Hare again unless they've completely given up, but I doubt it because Auburn is going to show up in the game. They do every year. It's just a shame. I mean, again, as an Alabama fan, I would hate to be them. If our program was like theirs, where it's like, oh, we only show up for 2 games a year, I would just be sick. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, they better blow Mercer out next week. If they let Mercer hang around, that's just sad. That's really sad. I mean, Florida's starting to do the same thing. We saw Florida again get destroyed by Kentucky, but then they almost beat Georgia. And they hung in there last week against Ole Miss because they want Lane. They're not getting Lane. So the thing is these people, I don't understand why Auburn does this, but they're going to show up. We have to play a A-plus game to win. That's ultimately what I'm trying to get at, because no matter what Auburn cares about, and it's not the bowl game, it's not Mercer, they're going to show up against us. They will, because they know if they beat us, we're out of the playoffs, and they would love that.
Oh, Auburn, they're just kind of like Candace on Phineas and Ferb trying to bust the brothers, being like, whoever's controlling the mysterious force, knock it off.
And then what's just crazy about Auburn? They're coming off a bye week, right? So they're pretty much not even looking at Mercer. They pretty much have 2 weeks to prepare for this Alabama football team, and that's just more added ammunition for them to have even more be even more dangerous inside of Jordan Hare on November 29th. So that's why I'm really harping on this Alabama football, most particularly this offense, to get their what together, man, because it's not, man. I would just hate for it just to come down to the fourth quarter inside of Jordan Hare, and this offense is still looking how it's looking, and we need a drive to put us to clinch this to get us to the SEC championship game. The offense is still dragging their bag, so we just gonna have to see, man, for real. But
man, it's like you guys and everyone in chat, y'all are making me want to pick Mercer when I go on with Lucas on the SC channel discussing Auburn Mercer, making me think, you know what, I'm gonna go with Mercer. I'm tempted to go with Mercer. Now that y'all got me thinking about it, it's like, why paying the FCS over FBS? Well, I mean, it's
until they become a program that actually shows up in the rest of their games, I'm going to keep harping on this. It makes them mad. I don't care. Fix your program. Show up in your other 10 games. Don't just play hard against us. All right? Like, make it look better if you beat us. Because if Auburn beats us, if they beat us in Jordan Hare this year, that is going to be ugly. A bad team like that. But at least if Auburn's 9-2 and they beat us, it's like, okay. Like you make it look bad if you do beat us because your record's so poor.
I want to see the Iron Bowl where both teams look really good, kind of like 1971, where both teams were unbeaten going into that game, and we beat the snot out of Auburn. I want to see games like that again.
Yeah, and it's just gonna be so much pressure on the board leading up to that, because just imagine if Auburn does the unthinkable and upsets it's not going to be good for calendar board. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to speculate on what could happen, but it's definitely going to be some changes if that were to happen. So can't take this Auburn team lightly at all.
Oh, man. Well, gentlemen, before we get to the SEC title scenarios, just kind of like give a look at it again for the audience tonight. We got some predictions we'll have to make, but we got some go-tos we've got. And that's friend Mark Rogers. But I think it's his doppelganger that's going to tell us what's up.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.
And that's why you go to Mark Rogers and Steve Dace from the Michigan Podcast and Steve Dace Show for Blaze TV, Matt Zemek from USC Primetime Live, Trojans Wire, and College Wire, which, by the way, Matt Zemek will be filling in for Mark Rogers on tonight's edition of the College Football Late Night Show on SG1 Sports, VOCFB. Only on Monday nights will you see the Late Night CFB show on The Voice College Football be on SG1 Sports, VOCFB, Monday nights, 9 p.m. Central Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Mark that on your calendars. And you can check out the Magic Corey Brada mates on his predictions on From the Hawkeye the Storm and Iowa Hawkeyes Live, Tuesday afternoons at 4:30 Central Time. And, of course, there's those Under the Radar pits from Steve Merrill at Wager Talk, where he brings that magic. I mean, I know I go to him for Under the Radar pits a week, and you should too, ladies and gentlemen. You should too. Alrighty, so friend of the Voice of College Football Network from sportingnews.com, Bill Bender has cranked up some title scenarios for each of these four teams: Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia, and Ole Miss. But we're the lucky ones, luckily. So we've win and you're in, or basically win and you've got a chance. But we'll explain why in just a moment. Because seen here are the get out. We don't care about Dodge right now. We don't care about Dodge. We got important business. Okay, bye minority players. We'll see you later. And we've got these four teams: Texas A&M, Georgia, Alabama, and Ole Miss. And as stated here are the tiebreaker rules. Step 1, head-to-head competition. That's the easiest tiebreaker. Did Team A beat Team B? Step 2, record versus all common conference opponents. Step 3, record against highest/best place common conference opponent in the conference standings and proceeding through the conference standings among the tied teams. Step 4, cumulative conference winning percentages of all conference opponents among tied teams. Step 5, capped relative total scoring margin versus all conference opponents among the tied teams. Step 6, random draw. So we've got Texas A&M. They've got the easiest. So nobody basically nobody can really clinch anything until rivalry week, because once again, this week being Cupcake week, Texas A&M has the easiest path: win and you're in. But if they lose to Texas, well, they're in serious jeopardy. The Georgia Bulldogs are crossing their fingers, hoping that Texas A&M can beat Texas. Because if Texas upsets Texas A&M on Black Friday, then Georgia's in trouble. But they've got that head-to-head win over Ole Miss. But the problem is we've got the head-to-head over them, which that's a good thing. We've got that head-to-head. But here's where we come in. We lost to Oklahoma on Saturday, which decreases the margin for error in the SEC race. Alabama's got the head-to-head win over Georgia, but Alabama, Georgia, and Ole Miss all have comparable cumulative conference winning percentages and no common opponent. So the 1 year where you're not playing Alabama, Ole Miss, that's where we're in real big trouble, unfortunately. A three-way tie for second place to be close, but there's bright side. We've got the advantage. And Ole Miss has a stronger conference winning percentage than Texas A&M. And the only common opponents A&M, Georgia, and Ole Miss share are Florida and Mississippi State. But, just kind of looking back at it, I'm really thinking about these scenarios, right? We basically need to be beating Auburn on the 29th on ABC with Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, and the puppy dog calling the game.
Yeah, and they really just need to handle their business in front of them. They controlled their own destiny coming in Saturday, and that took a big shot when they lost to Oklahoma. So now they pretty much need to beat Auburn, and they might need to put some style points on the board. Win by multiple scores, but getting the win is the biggest overall. But you see all this madness going on within these different scenarios within the conference, and that just circles back to just this super conference that the SEC has, kind of put together, just with all 16 teams and just these different scenarios. And then I also saw some different scenarios just on Twitter, just looking just throughout these last couple of days. And they were even saying that some other factors that could affect Alabama's title game chances for the SEC. They like any combo of these two teams win would affect Alabama. And these teams I'm talking about is Kentucky when they play Vanderbilt, Arkansas when they play Texas, and Florida when they play Tennessee. If any two of those three teams beat their opponent, with, like I said, Kentucky playing Vanderbilt, Arkansas playing Texas, and Florida playing Tennessee. If any of those two teams win, that would kind of that would be a conflict for Alabama chances because of the strength of schedule and winning percentage within the conference. So, just Saturday.
So what I'm hearing is we need to just cross our fingers for Tennessee to win in Gainesville for the first time since 2003 against the Florida Gators, right?
Yeah, man. But it's like control their own destiny. Now they certain things need to happen, certain things don't need to happen. It's just real confusing. Like, now you're looking at games from teams that they didn't even play. They didn't play either of these teams. They didn't play Kentucky. They didn't play Texas. They didn't play Arkansas. They didn't play Florida. But they these lesser to not lose. So they need Vanderbilt to beat Kentucky. They need Texas.
Come on, Vanderbilt, smack the stuffing out of Kentucky.
Yeah, they should, man. Because they're also, I think they're number 12 in the latest ranking, so they're also trying to, fight their way for the playoffs. But it's real interesting because it's probably going to be like maybe 5 teams in the college football playoffs, depending on how they look. Saw Alabama drop to number 10 in the latest rankings. I think they were 9 or 10. They were right there with Notre Dame, which has been a big conversation about why is Notre Dame over Alabama when Alabama has more ranked wins and strength of schedule and things like that. But that's the scenario Alabama's put themselves in, just losing to Oklahoma. So now they, like I said, just gotta handle their business inside of Jordan Hare. Might have to put some style points on the board, but the path is clear pretty much.
Man, it's like I can deal with Vanderbilt over Kentucky, but hoping for Tennessee to beat Florida. I know Florida has a losing record this year, but Tennessee and Gainesville. If it was in any other location, I would just kind of go, you know what? I feel confident Tennessee can make us look good. But as I tell a lot of people, don't put yourself in a position where you need somebody to win or lose for you, especially when you need your rivals to win or lose for you. And unfortunately, we have put ourselves in that position, my friends. Jeffrey, what do you think about this scenario where we have to rely, where I could deal with relying on Vanderbilt winning over Kentucky, but like Tennessee beating Florida in Gainesville, I'm a little uneasy about it because they've not gotten it done since the dark ages of the internet. What do you think about hearing this, Jeffrey?
Well, it's a very complicated situation right now that, as Travion said, did not have to be complicated if we had to just beat Oklahoma. But now it is complicated because we're in a situation where do we even want to make the SEC title game? And again, I know that a lot of people are going to be, what are you talking about? Like I said, there is a chance that we beat Auburn, make the SEC title game, lose in the SEC title game, and get left out. It's not likely. I still think they would have us in the playoffs at 10-3, but there is a 100% chance that we make the college football playoff at 10-2. 100%. But at 10-3, it's not a 100% chance. It is a lot lower than that. So Obviously, if we beat Auburn and then win the SEC title game, that's a win. And we're going to move up the rankings. We'd be like 5th or 6th. We'd probably be hosting a game in the first round. So that would be great. I'm just saying that there is always that predicament that it goes wrong for Alabama if we make the SEC title game and just say that we face Georgia, somehow. And because, A&M loses to Texas and we face Georgia, what if Georgia smacked us off the face of the earth? Obviously, I don't think that would happen because we've owned Georgia the last 10 years, but Georgia's looking a lot better than us currently right now. So there's a lot of issues right now with the situation that we're in, whether just making the SEC title game or wanting to make the SEC title game. It's very complicated. I mean, like you said, having to rely on Tennessee going to Gainesville is not a good thing because, the odds of Tennessee winning that game are 50-50 at best. I mean, Florida's bad, but Florida, when they want to be good, can show up. We saw against Georgia. We saw against Ole Miss. They can still play. And against Tennessee, they'll probably be like Auburn. Against Alabama, they're going to show up in that game. So it's not ideal.
On that.
It's not ideal at all. It's very unfortunate that we put ourselves in the situation. I still think it's very unfortunate that with these conferences being as big as they are now, that you have all these cumulative record situations. I mean, I understand it's the only thing you can do to get, the situation, uncorked, where it's like, hey, we got 4 teams with the same record. We got to figure out how to get the team that belongs in there. It is what it is with that. I don't like it because it's like, okay, to defend A&M for a minute. Texas A&M has gone undefeated. Yeah, they've played terrible teams, but that was their schedule. They lose to Texas by 1. They're suddenly eliminated now. Right? Probably for the title game. It probably is going to go to Alabama and Georgia, most likely, if Alabama and Georgia win. Is that fair to A&M? You could say yes or no, but that's just the way the rules are right now. I don't like the rules. They're not going to change. But I think the cumulative record thing it's very flawed. I know why they have it that way, because you got to do something to determine, like, hey, this team's more worthy because the teams they beat were better than what that team beat. But you can't control that. That's why you just got to win your games and get in. And I know Alabama was fine in that regard. And A&M will be too if they went out. Then whoever, whether it's Alabama or Georgia or Ole Miss or whoever will play them. But I'm just saying, like, leaving it in the hands of a cumulative record statistic is kind of dumb. I don't like that, and it sucks we put ourselves in that situation, but there's nothing we can do about that. But at the end of the day,
it's real greaseball.
Alabama just needs to win, because the best case scenario for Alabama is we beat Auburn, win the SEC title game, and we're 5th or 6th in the country, maybe even higher, maybe 4th. I don't know, 4th's pushing it, but we'll be up there, and we'll be in great shape in the playoffs. But if we beat Auburn and then lose in the title game, it's a dicey. Lose to Auburn, season's over. So the key is to win. Whatever's in front of us, we just need to win. That is the main thing.
Yeah, and I think just from the perspective of needing Kentucky, of needing Vanderbilt to beat Kentucky and Texas to beat Arkansas, I think those 2 things most likely happen. I don't really see Arkansas beating Texas or Kentucky beating Vanderbilt. Both of those teams are still competitive, even though Texas is not pretty much eliminated themselves, but still the same. But overall, I just think, like Jeffrey was saying, all Alabama has to do is win, man. That's all they got to do. That's all they got to do is win, because Texas A&M and Alabama, they have the 2 most clearest paths. Both of those teams, all they have to do is win. And then if Alabama does win the SEC title game, I believe they'll be 4th, because the conference winner, they automatically get a bye week. So a lot of stuff ahead of this Alabama football team. Just hoping they can capitalize on it and not slip away from the margin room for error they got.
The issue with this right here, because Rough Rider returns this, is the SEC and Big Ten need to have divisions. The problem with that is, now that the conferences are so big, especially the Big Ten, if you have divisions and you go back to the old way of where everyone in your division you play every year, and then you play, a couple games with teams from the other division, the Big Ten's got 18 teams. So that would be 9 per division. if you do that and you don't do the triple thing where it's 6, 6, and 6. That would just be nuts, and that would really complicate things and mess it up. But if you go 2 divisions, 9 and 9, you play the other 8 teams in your division every year, you're only going to play 1 game against a team in the opposite division every year. There will be no crossover. Though basically, that's 2 different conferences at that point. You'll never play those other teams. You'll probably go 6 years without playing a team from the other division. Like, if you split up the Big Ten, especially if you kept the rivalries intact, it's like Indiana, right? Like Indiana would play the 8 teams in the East part, and then Purdue, unless Purdue was moved over to the East, which they probably would because of USC, UCLA, or it won't work. If you bring back the divisions with the old format of where you play everybody in your division and then you play a team or 2 or 3 in the other, it won't work. The conferences are too big. Even the SEC, we will be playing 7 games in our division in the SEC West, and then we would only play 2 teams because we're moving to non-conference games. We'd be playing 2 teams in the other division. You would go 3 or 4 years without playing some of those teams. It would ruin rivalries. It would suck. It would not work. I think that, unfortunately, because the conferences have expanded to as big as they have, divisions have to stay away. You've got to be able to have these teams go and play the other teams at least every other year. You can't go years and years and years without playing a team in the same conference that you're in. Again, that is what happens when you bloat a conference. Perfect size for a conference was 10 to 12. That's what it should have stayed at. But we've gone past that point. So, no, they do not need divisions because they're too big. They need to shrink the conferences back to recreate the divisions, but that's never going to happen either. So, I think the divisions, unfortunately, even though I wish we could have them back, they need to stay away. It just won't work.
Yep. But, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. And all we got to do is win, no matter what. I forget who sung that song, which, note to self, I really need to kind of update my brain a little bit.
Win. That's all they got to do. These next 14 days are going to be very telling on this Alabama football team's future overall. But if they just win, all they got to do, win.
Got to take Auburn through the bus.
Got to take them to the bus, man. And they see, man, they're trying to do the same to Alabama, so got to just handle business. That's easy.
We're going to get your quote on a trademark one of these days. Say, that's Travion's.
Yeah.
There you go. There we go. And what else we're doing is, Black Friday is coming, of course. Got shopping to do. Plenty of shopping. You're on Amazon, of course. So you can definitely use it to support the link, to support the voice of college football. You don't need to buy the product displayed, and it doesn't cost you a penny. You get the same shopping experience. That's all by clicking on the link down below. HHPS Amazon.2/2V6J4TD. There you go. Little Amazon Prime. There you go. You get to hear Al Michaels make his magic. And don't worry, folks. When there's that retirement announcement of Al Michaels one of these days, we'll be dedicating a Crimson Tide live show to Al Michaels because he has called a few Alabama games in his time when he was calling college football for ABC Sports from 1977 to 1985. Yeah, we don't forget that sort of stuff, of course. Oh, man. He had the honor of getting the call of the 84 Iron Bowl. Wrong way, Bo. I just have to note to self. I have to look forward and see whether he says it's caught in that voice, in that Ray Romano voice he has.
Hopefully that catch Alabama.
What'd you say, Travion?
You were saying Al Michaels and his famous line, he's caught. I said hopefully that catch goes to Alabama for a big play.
Oh, agreed. I know he got the cover of 7 and out on Alabama Penn State where Bear Bryant got his 314th win, in November. Let me see. Yeah, November 14th of 1981 on ABC and State College. Chewed up Penn State like a chicken nugget, or in their case, because it was close to Thanksgiving, beat them up like mashed potatoes and gravy. Oh, man. Those are the awesome days. And the 2020s can still be some awesome days, ladies and gentlemen. All righty. We got some press conferences to look at, of course. Kalen DeBoer was talking quite a lot about Cole Adams and Brian Williams for the punts. And Travion, you saw a little bit of it. And I think you saw a little bit of it, Jeffrey. And there was also a little bit about the possibility of Jamarian Latham getting a 7th year for 2026. So there's a little bit of that. What'd you guys think?
I can kind of understand what or in the office staff, special teams in particularly, what they were thinking, having to return men back there versus Oklahoma. It really just came down to Oklahoma's punter, as Kellen DeBoer was saying. Just some of the inconsistencies he had. He had a tendency to punt the ball short, but then it would have a bounce in their favor. So they were just trying to really just put some playmakers back there, and unfortunately it backfired. And with Brian Williams, it backfiring on him. It's just real unfortunate that it's him, because you would expect him to be one of Alabama's best playmakers with the ball in their hand, but we saw that led to a fumble, so that's unfortunate. But hopefully, like I was saying earlier, they can get that aspect of the game figured out, so that they can have the ability to make some plays in the return game, come whether it's when they play Auburn inside of Jordan Hare or in the college football playoffs when they do eventually get there. But another thing, just with Marion Latham update, that has the potential to be big. He was trending towards having a good season before he had the neck injury. He had a neck injury in practice, and it kind of ended his senior season. He was a 6-year player, and that's just real unfortunate to see him go down. But this Alabama football defense hasn't missed a beat. But just having him on the cusp for next year, potentially that could be big. Just having that experience. You think about the defenders that would be losing. They would be losing players like a Deontay Lawson, like a Justin Jefferson, like a just some of the other defensive linemen and things of that nature that they'll be losing. So the potential of him returning would be big. Just hope that he could really just be healthy and really just have a good senior season, because this year it was cut short, obviously, but that's real encouraging just to see that he has the potential to come back 7th year. Could do wonders for this defense, especially with Kane Womack, his 3rd year coaching the defense. Hopefully they're able to retain him, but could do wonders.
Well, and the main quote that I took away from this press conference, and this from the opening statement, was when he said, quote, "This is not a time to sit still. This is a time to keep moving forward. We see areas that we can continue to improve on, but that's what we've done all season long. We continue to push, continue to go back to work." And these guys, again, they've shown how resilient they are. And you can see the want to in the fight, getting down early in the game the other night, I think. And how we continue to compete is exactly what you see in the big picture this season and what these guys are all made up of, unquote.
Those are good words. I mean, it's positive. And he's not wrong. I mean, we did fall behind and fought back. Still should have won and out because we outplayed them. But again, that's in the past. Nothing you can do about it. With the returns, I just wouldn't have Ron Williams do it anymore. It's not even just because of the fumble. It's just like returns. You can get hurt on returns. Because when you're running at full speed like that on a play like that, you're going to get hit hard. He's a small guy for a wide receiver. You just don't. To me, you want your I would say best receiver, but the correct answer is probably the most explosive receiver when he's at his best. Because Bernard is our complete receiver, and even Horton gives you a lot that Ron Williams can't. Ron Williams is great, but he has limitations. I wouldn't use him in the return game. I mean, we've got a ton of other guys. I mean, we literally have guys in our receiving core who are down the depth chart that don't even play that could be returning the balls. Do not have Ron Williams return anything anymore. I would not do it. I know the freakish speed, but it even feels like his freakish speed has kind of been limited a bit with the amount of abuse that he's already taken the last 2 years. Like, it doesn't feel like he had. I mean, he still probably has that gear in him, but he's got to get it back. I just wouldn't use him in the return game. So I don't care who they use. Brooks, Cole Adams, Kevin Riley, don't matter. I don't care who it is. Just don't use Ron Williams anymore. We got a lot of dudes in Bakwe. I think he's injured, but like if he was healthy, we got a lot of guys that we could use, and I just would not be using Ron Williams. Now, when it comes to Latham being a seventh-year player, the only negative to that is that obviously with guys coming back and back and back for years on end, it hurts younger guys from being able to play. That's what happened with a lot of these teams during the extra years that everyone was getting because of the pandemic. Obviously, I mean, that stunts freshmen. It stunts younger guys from being able to play. But at the end of the day, you're never going to turn somebody away. I mean, getting a guy back who's that experienced is always a good thing. And it would be great for our defense. It would be great to have that experience back. Like you said, Travion, we're going to be losing a lot on defense. I just think the other perspectives, it does hurt younger guys from being able to get their shot when you have so many older guys still playing. Because I've noticed, like, there's so many fifth, sixth, and even seventh-year players on so many teams. And you wonder why it's taking so long for some of these players to actually get out there on the field. You're seeing so many young guys transfer to other programs that maybe wouldn't have transferred if they would have been able to already get out there on the field because they couldn't get to play, which, maybe patience is still could be a good, quality, a good trait for some of these guys. Like, hey, just wait that one more year. You're going to get your time. I mean, we saw it with Coker. He got his year at Alabama. We saw with Mac Jones, his time arrived. Like, sometimes it takes you 3, 4, 5 years. Ty Simpson stuck it out. Don't hit the portal after a year or two that you're not getting to play. There's a reason. With a redshirt year, you get 5 seasons at the very least. And with an injury, you can get a 6th. And some of these guys getting 7, it's crazy. But, I think that, again, it's a good thing for us if we can get him back for a 7th year. It just could hurt younger guys. But at the end of the day, it's still a win for us.
Yeah, and lastly, I just want to touch on what Kellen DeWar was saying about the kind of the whole mentality of the Alabama football team attacking this week. Wanting to move forward and put things behind them. Hopefully, they can do that. From a psychological standpoint, a mental standpoint. Because they have a lot of stuff still ahead of them. The sky is not falling. A lot of Alabama football fans, Alabama faithful, this past weekend, over these past 48 hours since the Oklahoma loss, they've been acting like the sky is falling. But like we were saying in the SEC scenarios and stuff like that, all they have to do is win. So hopefully those aren't just words that Kellen DeBoer is saying. Hopefully that this team is actually taking initiative and moving forward and doing the things that they have to do to, take care of these last 2 games and get to Atlanta and get to the SEC championship game and head to December and have a decent shot in these college football playoffs. But it sounds good what Kellen DeBoer is saying, but actions speak louder than words. So we'll definitely be seeing what this Alabama football team is made of down the stretch.
For sure. Like, I feel pretty good about it. Like, I feel pretty good about where things can go. I mean, it's not a spot where we want to be, but I believe we can thrive. I believe we can thrive. I think we can make the best out of any situation we're in. Like, we've done it before and we'll do it again. We can do that. And we all believe in DeBoer. I mean, I believe in him. I mean, I bet a lot of you in the chat believe in Coach DeBoer as well. We all believe in him. I think he can make more magic. He's got some magic coming. Well, we've got Cupcake Week finally. Eastern Illinois. It's so funny that we're just now thinking about it. It's like Eastern Illinois. Their record. Let's look at it, shall we?
Honestly, I don't even know what their record is. Honestly, I just know Tony Romo went there because I'm.
3-8, 3-8.
So they're not even a good FCS team. You know, like you sometimes when you see like a 10-0 FCS team, it's like, oh no, that might be a problem. But look what Kentucky did to Tennessee Tech last week, who was 10-0. Kentucky blew them out. So yeah, I mean Eastern Illinois 3-8. As I've mentioned before, every single time we have a Cupcake game, everyone talks about 10-10 Citadel, and we know what happened in the second half. We blew the doors off the Citadel. So you know, Eastern Illinois, even if it's slightly close early, I don't even think it'd be close early, but Alabama's going to blow the brakes off this team, especially coming off a loss. Like, I would feel bad. The only thing that's good for Eastern Illinois is that check they're going to get for playing Bama. Other than that, I mean, it's going to be a bad day. Wolf, if he is going to play, if he's going to be their quarterback, watch out, Wolf. Just get rid of the ball. Don't take the hits, man.
This guy looks pretty sad. I mean, like Foster at linebacker. I mean, I'd be sad too if my team
just lost their last game. That's not a good sign.
No. They just need to go out there and have fun. Alabama football team, I would expect that to be their response too. You know, especially offensively, I would expect the offense, you know, to kind of put some points up. You know, I would think that would be the overall thing this week. You know, see how many points the starting offense can put up before they're taken out, because we're probably going to see a lot of younger guys, you know, on the offensive end. We might see a Austin Mack, we might see a Keelan Russell. You know, because they haven't played since the ULM game. So them playing against Eastern Illinois, that wouldn't hurt either one of those guys' red shirts. And we also might see some guys that were hinting around last week, the idea of like a Deer out there, or just some other younger players that they have. So this week, I'm really just looking to see how the starting offense plays, and just some of those other guys down the depth chart, how they perform when they get their time this week. But like you said, it's a game. Alabama's at home. They're coming off a loss. It's senior day. They have no reason not to play good football on Saturday. They have no reason not to blow the doors off of Eastern Illinois. Like, the game shouldn't be close at all. I mean, fans are going to be there into the fourth quarter because, like I said, it's senior day. The last home game is going to be there, but like the casual fan, they should be able to hit the parking lot and try to beat the traffic before the game ends. Like, that's how much I expect Alabama to have control of this game and pretty much handle business at home. And I also saw the spread of this game was like 38.5. I'm expecting Alabama to cover that. If they don't cover that, I mean, it's not the end of the world or anything like that. But for me, I'm gonna be a little bit worried because, like I said, the fact that they're not dominating the lesser team, especially coming off a loss, that's gonna make me think to what Kalen DeBoer was saying about them moving them forward. That's gonna make me skeptical about what he said. I expect this Alabama football team on Saturday just do what they got to do, handle the lesser opponent, and get ready for Auburn. But, you know, got to play who you have in front of you first. So hopefully they can do that versus Eastern Illinois first.
Oh man, I don't think anybody would blame Eastern Illinois' broadcaster if he was acting like Harry Doyle on air, or a little bit off air, where he's just like, Eastern Illinois at the 50-yard. Who cares? We're on a 6-game losing streak.
Yeah, man. Like I said, they just need to go out there and have fun, Eastern Illinois, because this Alabama football team, they better dominate. They have to dominate.
It's more so like just the experience to play at Bryant-Denny. That's about it. You know, it's good for those guys. You know, and again, the check they get for playing the game. Other than that, I mean, it's nothing else you can even say. Like, it's going to be ugly. They know it's going to be ugly. You know, they always say, like, when you're playing a bad team, don't let them believe they have a chance to win. You know, that would make sense if you're playing a team like Memphis, you know, or Tulane maybe, or South Florida, but not this team. I mean, if Alabama is legitimately in a struggle fest with Eastern Illinois, then Alabama needs to not make the playoffs, and they need to quit playing football this season. You know, that's how bad it would be. This is not going to be close. Like, Alabama should be able to blow this team out with all their backups. You know, that's the type of game this is. It's not a knock against Eastern Illinois. It's just not supposed to be a close game. It's literally not even on TV. It's on SEC Network Plus.
Like, they should put it on Disney.
Not on TV because they know nobody cares. It's just not gonna.
Hey, if you want people to care about this game, put it on Disney Channel and have Phineas and Ferb call the game. Like, do what you did with SpongeBob for the NFL Christmas Day games. Like that would break in some dollars for sure.
Yeah, but fans need to be thinking ULM versus Alabama. That's the type of dominance I'm looking to see from this Alabama football team versus Eastern Illinois. They beat ULM 77 to nothing in the home season opener. So hopefully they can end the year with that same dominance versus Eastern Illinois. So like you were saying, Jackson, it should not be close, like at all. Like pure dominance on one side. Backup should be able to come in and score a few touchdowns. Their backup should be able to come in and score a few touchdowns. But we'll see, of course, on Saturday.
Oh, for sure, man. And we'll be going with the score predictions for Alabama, Eastern Illinois. And Trevion, we'll start with you. Then we'll go with Jeffrey, and I'll end it with me.
Like I was saying, I expect complete dominance. I expect the offense to come out and put up a good performance, score points, the backups to score points and things like that. It's a 38.5 spread. I think Alabama wins 45-3. I don't think Eastern Illinois will score a touchdown. Like we were saying, they're on a 6-game losing streak. It's senior day, last home game of the regular season. I just expect a dominance all the way around. And so I'm just going to go with 45-3 Alabama over Eastern Illinois. That's my prediction.
There we go. Jeffrey, what's your prediction for Alabama, Eastern Illinois?
The issue with predicting a game like this is it just depends on how long Alabama actually keeps their foot on the gas. Because, I mean, a game like this, you can theoretically win 80-0. You know, I mean, you can win 90-0 probably. But if they take their foot off the gas in the third quarter, then Travion's prediction of 45-3 could happen because they stop putting up points. I'll say, I mean, I'll just go like 56-3. Yeah, I was going to go like 63-3, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, whether they score an extra garbage touchdown or not, it really doesn't matter. I think they'll cover the 38.5. They're going to win. They're going to at least get in the 50s. They could win by more, but I'll say 56-3. If they put up 70 points, doesn't shock me. If they only put up 40-something points because they just kind of just coast the rest of the game, it wouldn't surprise me either. I would prefer to see them win 70-3 or 70-0 because that would just look better. It'd be like, hey, like the entire game they use this game to get right. Like you just no coasting, just keep your foot on the gas. But at the end of the day, they're gonna win big, so it doesn't matter. But 56-3.
All right, so Jeff, you got 56-3, and
shorting them on the points, but like Jeffrey was saying, the game should go into the 50s. Hopefully, Alabama, like I said, just a dominant performance overall. They have no business on the same field as Alabama, so yeah.
So Eastern Illinois runs a Cam Newton at Auburn style offense with sweeps.
Too bad they don't have Cam Newton.
Yeah, I think Cam Newton's too busy. Cam Newton thinks he's a pimp named Slipback from the Boondocks on First Tape, but Cat Williams should give him a call and tell him that's mine, not yours. It's like, and it's like you should just stick to your podcast, Cam. Don't be going on First Take making a fool of yourself, making these bad college football predictions. I swear, it's like ESPN put some guys on there that make bad predictions to kind of make a fool out of themselves. So it's like Jim Cramer on MSNBC, but that's their time for another day. The bad financial prediction. Huh?
And it's all for entertainment. You know how that is. It's all for entertainment. Another comment said, "Oh yeah, that's still the Cam Newton." That's gonna make me go back and look at how Eastern Illinois has looked over this year. Obviously, if they were a bigger opponent, I would be looking at them. But to be honest, I haven't even been looking at them. So, but the fact that they said they have a Cam Newton, I'm wondering who is that quarterback now? Who? You said it was something.
Oh, I'm glad you asked. Guy who calls himself Wolf, a guy named Connor Wolf. He's trying to look scary, but he looks scared. He's trying to make a bad face, but it's just there's. I see a scared kid, is what I see.
Yeah,
I mean,
that I've seen scarier stuff, so they ain't worried about it.
man. Oh man. Well, that ends with me as I'll be making my predictions to kind of round this out. I'm gonna go with Alabama 59-10.
Hmm.
I feel like that's where it's gonna go.
Yeah, it really just depends. I don't see this Alabama defense giving up a touchdown for me, honestly, just because just with the way that they've been playing, and like I said, it's senior day, and a lot of seniors on that defense. You know, they kind of, I would think they would want to pitch shutout similar to how they did versus ULM earlier in the year. So that's why I went with just giving them a field goal, but that might even be too much. I just like the way this defense is playing right now, how Kane Warmack is coaching, and how they're looking on that side of the ball. But either way, all three of our predictions are predicting Alabama to be dominant and win in a dominant fashion. So that's what we're expecting to see Saturday. But like I said, just got to get to Saturday and see, man.
Well, there we go, man. There we go. Oh man. So tomorrow night, Travion and I are moving down primetime live from 6 p.m. Central to 7 p.m. Central because of the fact the CFP rankings, instead of them being on 6 p.m., they're going to be on 7:30 or after the conclusion of Michigan State, Kentucky in the Champions Classic. So we're just making sure we keep an eye on the CFP rankings for all of you and to see where Alabama is going to be ranked. We've got it all right here on Alabama Voice College Football. And we'll be going over some recruiting updates. And of course, Thursday night is the Alabama College Show as Jeffrey and I take your calls on the Crimson Tide at 9 p.m. Central Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And man, last Thursday we had a wild ending. And I won't spoil too much, but you'll know at the last part, the last 5 to 6 minutes of the show. Let's just say it made Godfather of the ACC want to take some gas hits and Pepto Bismol, but he enjoyed the show all the same. We, as you all did, we all enjoyed doing this with all of you, talking about Alabama athletics with all of you guys. You guys make it awesome. And Jeffrey, Cherion, you guys are awesome. And it's an awesome 2025 season. Even though the results aren't going the way we want, especially for last Saturday, we just got to make some magic. We'll be good to go. But Travion, what magic are you cooking this week, good buddy?
The magic I got cooking this week it's really not a lot, but it's still some magic. Looking at these college football rankings and seeing where Alabama is, seeing the different scenarios across the sport of college football, seeing how the landscape plays out, and just really just also keeping an eye on this Alabama basketball. They lost versus Purdue on last Thursday, but still number 11 ranked team in the country. In Alabama football, them still being number 10 in the country is not often that a lot of teams around the country can say that they got two top programs. So really just diving into both of those teams and enjoying some college basketball, some NFL, some NBA stuff like that. I like all sports, so nothing major.
Oh man, I bet you got the Peacock app as well, getting yourself prepared for when you gotta watch it on Peacock instead of NBC, right?
Yeah, man, I'm still my devices together. This war that's going on with all these streaming outlets and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
have something when it's time to watch the game. I ain't missing the game, so yeah.
there you go, man. There you go. And here's to the Cowboys beating the Raiders tonight.
Let's hope so, man. I'm a Dallas native. If those of the show don't know, I'm from Dallas, Texas originally, so I've been seeing a lot of the Dallas Cowboys growing up and stuff like that. But I put all my faith in Alabama football because with the Dallas Cowboys, it's kind of like being an Auburn fan. They just these last couple of years, just not really wanting to be. So hopefully they can have a good performance tonight versus the Raiders and keep those playoff hopes alive. But other than that, I don't really have much going on other than that.
And Jeffrey, I believe you and Will got some magic cooking this week, and I believe you got some more NFL predictions cooking this week.
Oh, absolutely. My NFL predictions have been up and down this season. Some weeks have been good, some weeks have been bad. But that's just the nature of the NFL this year. It's been wild predicting these games. Tons of upsets, tons of heavily favored teams going down every week. So trying my best to figure out who's going to win every week, but it's a pretty impossible task. Just trying to stay over 60% if I can. Right now I'm hovering around 60%. So definitely I'll have my NFL predictions typically on Thursday afternoon. Try to wait till the end, find out any injuries, just whatever's going on. Because, I mean, you do it now, and then there's like 80 billion updates between now and Thursday. So it's a lot of stuff you got to pay attention to. Now, me and Will and D, hopefully tomorrow night, should be doing our predictions. Usually it's sometimes either tonight or Tuesday night, but get our college football predictions in for the week. Even though it's a bit of a down week, there's still some good games coming up. So definitely going to be excited about that.
Like the 56th anniversary of President attending the game of the century between Texas and Arkansas, and Color TV on ABC.
It was a long time ago when Arkansas was mentioned because they're terrible. But yeah, absolutely. It's a big anniversary there for sure. And Dad, definitely appreciate it if you guys check my channel out, Only Talk Sports, and also follow me on X as well. But again, appreciate all the support here at Alabama, the voice of college football, just passing 3,000 subs. It's an incredible milestone. Couldn't have done it without you guys. And like Jackson said, despite some of the losses, we're doing all right. We're going to keep on trucking along here at Alabama, the voice of college football, talking the Crimson Tide with you, no matter a win or a loss.
There we go. Tell your friends, family, and the cashier's post about the match that Travion Ware is creating on TWare1K on @/Twitter. Give him a follow, and he's going to give you top-notch coverage on Alabama football, Dallas Cowboys, MLB, and much, much more. And also give Only Talk Sports a follow on @/Twitter and subscribe to Only Talk Sports. And please beg him to do a Kentucky-Indiana live stream once Kentucky-Indiana comes back on December of 2025, a few weeks from now. Please tell him you want that. And of course, you could check me out on Jackson Johnson 979, where I'm still 279 subs away from that magic number 1,000. I'll be filming a Jacksonian episode with Matthew Lennox from FSU Wire, blogging with the boys on SB Nation and Florida State, the voice of college football, as we'll be talking a lot about the Cowboys, Florida State, the Braves, and much more. We'll be talking about it all, and then I'll also be joined by Mike Debate from Patriots on Sports Illustrated, talking about the Patriots. This time, it's on the bright side, not on a downside, but a great side, with Mike Vrabel turning them around. Man, I wish the Titans didn't fire him, but, it is what it is. But also, I just might be joined by Buttnuts 247 senior editor, Steve Hellwagon, for some discussion on the 2025 edition of The Game between Ohio State and Michigan. But that's why you like, comment, subscribe to Jackson Johnson 979 for more episodes of the Jackson. And later tonight, I will be joining the Java Men to discuss Alabama Illinois basketball. And for more updates of what I've got going on Alabama, the voice of college football, the Jacksonian, and SEC at the voice of college football with Lucas Hill. Got some magic on that coming up. And appearances on Locked On West Virginia with Mountaineer Paul. And twice a week calls on the Fine Ball Show Check me out, Jats VOCFB on @/Twitter and on Instagram at JatsShots543908. And I really need to change my Instagram handle before this year ends. And with that being said, you can catch us tomorrow night on Alabama Primetime Live, 7 p.m. Central, all right here on Alabama, the voice of college football. From Travion and myself, and this is Jackson Johnson, Travion, and Jeffrey, telling all of you to like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification bell to Alabama, the voice of college football, so you never miss no video whatsoever. And we will see you soon. And roll
Tide.